Coming up next, a contagious disease has made its way to Penn State's campus, and health officials have recommendations for how you can stay healthy.
Plus, a new tax in Center County could make visiting the area a little more pricey, why some are saying it'll be beneficial to the local economy.
And a Bellefonte high schooler hoping to make a difference in his community is running for local office.
I wanted to get involved and be part of the school, be a part of something bigger than myself.
The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Chris Keating.
And I'm Maddie Biertemple. Thanks for joining us. Just 2 weeks after a mumps outbreak affected more than 100 people at Philadelphia's Temple University, 3 cases have now been confirmed at the Penn State University Park campus. Haley Brown reports.
Penn State confirmed 3 cases of mumps at its University Park campus this week. This comes after more than 140 confirmed or probable cases at Temple University last month. Mumps is a highly contagious disease marked by swollen salivary glands, headaches, and cold-like symptoms. It can be passed through saliva and respiratory secretions. The 3 impacted students have been isolated in accordance with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the PA Department of Health protocols and recommendations. Penn State University Health Services staff are identifying those who've been in close contact with the 3 confirmed cases, which are not believed to be related. Penn State student Katrina Dubiansky says she's nervous to contract the mumps in the upcoming final weeks of the school year.
I'm really nervous because the mumps is something that you hadn't really heard about the past couple of years, and now all of a sudden it's an outbreak in our campus, which I know is a huge campus, but when something like that happens can be really small.
While 2 doses of the MMR vaccine does provide immunity from the infection, in some cases it does not guarantee 100% immunity from the disease. Penn State infectious disease manager Shelley Hafner stresses how serious the mumps can be.
Penn State mandates 2 doses of MMR vaccine. For most people that's effective, but some people will still get mumps. And the reason for that is they just didn't develop immunity from the 2 doses of vaccine.
Those who can't provide proof of the MMR vaccination will be excluded from the University Park campus in an attempt to stop the disease from spreading. From University Park, I'm Haley Brown for the Center County Report.
During the recent mumps outbreak at Temple University, nearly 5,000 students and faculty members there took advantage of booster shots at several free clinics on campus. Meantime, New York City's mayor has declared a public health emergency after a measles outbreak in Brooklyn. The area has seen more than 280 cases of measles since October. The mayor's order mandates vaccinations for all unimmunized children and adults unless they can provide a medical exemption. Those who don't comply could face a fine of up to $1,000.
A judge has ordered former Penn State President Graham Spanier to report to jail May 1st. Spanier was convicted in 2017 on 1 misdemeanor count of child endangerment for his role in handling a complaint about Jerry Sandusky showering with a minor. A judge ruled Spanier may be able to serve his time close to State College if the jail warden approves. There's an update in the investigation into a deadly police shooting in State College. The Center County District Attorney says the state police have finished interviewing people involved in the incident that left Osaze Osagi dead last month, and they've sent physical evidence to Harrisburg for testing. After the results of those tests come in, District Attorney Bernie Cantorna will finalize his report and share the results with the families of those involved and the public.
There's a renewed focus on safety nationwide since a college student in South Carolina was murdered after getting into the wrong Uber. And that includes in State College, where thousands of students use Uber. Amanda Mitchell reports.
Honestly, it rattled me a little bit just because I do that so often, and obviously a lot of the times I'm not in the right mind.
2 weeks ago, University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson got into a car she believed to be her Uber. Her body was later found 90 miles away, and the man she thought was her Uber driver is charged with murder and kidnapping. Today, Penn State students are still fighting a chilling reality. What happened to Samantha could have happened to anyone. Helen Mattis is a Penn State senior who Ubers alone nearly 3 times a week.
I'd like to think that I am careful, but there's definitely been times where I've also just gotten into the car and it's easy to blame her, but it's people do it all the time, and you just so many times nothing goes wrong, so you never really think anything of it until that one time it does.
The ride-sharing app emailed all users with the subject line, "Check your ride every time you ride with Uber." Even as Uber tries to make its users more alert, a 2018 CNN study found that 103 Uber drivers have been accused of sexual assault or abuse. Samantha Josephson's father spoke at a vigil held at the University of South Carolina, urging students to remember his daughter by getting into an Uber and asking, "What's my name?" and remembering hers. Uber driver Gavin Yonner says he's shocked at what happened at the University of South Carolina. He's working to make his riders feel as safe as possible.
Every time I pick up an Uber rider, I make sure when they open up the door, I say, "Hey, is this ride for John Smith?" And I just confirm that it's them.
The South Carolina House passed a ride-sharing safety bill in Josephson's name to help prevent any further tragedies. In University Park, I'm Amanda Mitchell for the Center County Report.
A newly proposed law in South Carolina would require all Uber drivers to equip their car with an illuminated sign visible from at least 50 feet away.
Opening day for deer rifle season in Pennsylvania will start on Saturday this year. Opening day has started the Monday after Thanksgiving since 1963, but the State Game Commission voted this week to change it to Saturday. The move expands rifle season to 2 weeks, including a third Saturday. Opponents believe the change interferes with tradition and complicates travel during Thanksgiving weekend, but supporters say it allows hunters who can't take off on a Monday a chance to participate.
And tomorrow marks the statewide opening day of fishing season in Pennsylvania. Thousands of people will head to the water as the annual trout season begins. Reporter Haley Curtis is live in Bellefonte with more on opening day. Haley?
Some call it an unofficial Pennsylvania holiday, and this weekend it is officially here. Opening day for trout fishing begins tomorrow across Pennsylvania. Fishermen from all different counties will be coming out to rivers and streams just like these behind me to fish. The Bellefonte State Fish Hatchery has been breeding trout for the last 18 months, getting them the perfect size for this weekend. So for those of you who will be going out and casting your lines, you can expect to catch some pretty big ones. The fish are measured and weighed before being stocked into the rivers to make sure they're in the range from 9 to 11 inches. And tomorrow it's supposed to be a beautiful day, so have fun and good luck fishing. Live in Bellefonte, I'm Haley Curtis. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Haley. Whether it's for fishing, hunting, or football games, thousands of visitors to Center County will be affected by a tax hike just approved. The County Board of Commissioners raised hotel occupancy taxes, and that'll affect everything from hotels to Airbnbs. I talked with some regular visitors about the change.
Smile.
Penn State's Nittany Lion Shrine is the second most photographed landmark in the state of Pennsylvania, and the most in all of Center County.
The tourism and recreation industry here in Center County is an $800 million industry.
Besides the shrine, Center County is a hub for tourism in the state. Through sporting events, Penn State University, and multiple state parks in the area, the region attracts many visitors each year. Megan Jablonski is one of those visitors and is staying at the Penn Stater Hotel this weekend.
Actually here for a PHSA conference for Early Head Start.
However, this weekend and future trips for Jablonski just became a little more expensive.
Whether you're coming into town this weekend for some tailgating fun and to catch the blue-white game, or if you're across the street next month at the Bryce Jordan Center for graduation. Either way, if you plan on staying in a hotel in Center County anytime soon, expect that bill to be a little bit higher than usual, as the Center County state occupancy tax is raised from 2.5% to 5%. And throw 6% as state occupancy tax on top of that, you'll be paying around 11% in taxes for a one-night stay.
Commissioner Pipe says the 5% in county occupancy tax will be used to bring in even more money to the local economy.
We can then take that money and invest it in advertising Center County to tourists, but also take a portion of that money to invest in the nonprofits that put on events here in Center County.
Before the tax increase, Center County was receiving $1.8 million annually, but Pipe and the Board of Commissioners expect to see that yearly total grow to nearly $5 million by April 1st of 2020. Both Jablonski and her friend Nicole Stahl say the tax increase will not affect their future travel plans to Center County.
I don't think it's that much of an increase, really, when you think of all the other taxes that you're paying to travel with the gas taxes and property taxes going up. Everything else is going up too, so why not the tourism?
Out of the $800 million tourism brings to Center County, Pipe says overnight stays at hotels and other lodging sources contribute around $120 million to that total.
A candidate in an upcoming election won't even be old enough to vote by Election Day. That story is coming up later.
Plus, Patrick Wright has the weather forecast for Blue-White weekend. Also coming up, how record rainfall in State College last year could affect planting season this spring, and what you can do to keep your flowers looking good.
It's spring at Harper's in downtown State College, your source for unique fashion for the gentleman who appreciates quality and style. From the classics to the contemporary styles. To keep you looking great this spring and all year long, the only choice is Harper's, downtown State College. Harper's is where you'll find all the best spring fashions for her. Our women's boutique is full of special finds, unique accessories, and classic and contemporary fashions from top designers. Experience Harper's Spring Collection, a downtown State College tradition for over 90 years.
As the weather warms up, spring planting and gardening is now in season. Reporter Logan Westrope has more on how the season's going so far and how the record rainfall last year might have affected blooming flowers and plants.
When it comes to getting your gardens ready for the growing season, the current weather in April is not always an indicator of how your plants will grow in the coming weeks. Wheatfield nursery specialist Frank Barksdale says the last summer's record rainfall is the beginning to how plants start to bud during spring.
Coming off a very difficult summer where we had a lot of rain last year, and that really affected production. It affected everything because there was so much water.
Extreme weather conditions during the winter, along with late season temperature swings, tend to inflict stress to many plants that cause roots to heave or rise above the ground. Barksdale says that the soil is the most crucial component to a successful growing season.
Everything starts with the soil. That's it. In beginning and end, it's the soil.
Here in central Pennsylvania, the soil in the ground is usually a heavy clay, which is very poor for drainage, especially during soaking rains. This essentially prevents the roots in the ground to have enough air between the soil particles. As for what plants to actually garden this time of year, Dr. Eric Burkhart says it can be a tricky decision when heading out to the garden.
It's tricky to figure out in particular when to put out tender plants, and by tender I mean not all garden vegetables are the same, not all herbs are the same. Some things are more frost tolerant and some are more sensitive.
Some crops, such as onions and leeks, are set to plant in late January, with tomatoes during late March and squash and sunflowers during mid to late April. Now, the start of the growing season can vary just within a small distance. Two factors that play a big role in that is the amount of sunlight an area receives, also the elevation. Burkhart says the last frost is typically around May 20th. He says the best way to prevent harm to crops is to keep them in movable pots and take them indoors at the temperature nears 32 degrees. In State College, I'm Logan Westrope for the Center County Report.
Experts say you should wait to plant your perennials for a few more weeks until nighttime temperatures are above 40 degrees. Now we have Patrick Wright with weather.
Boy, does Mother Nature have a treat for us for Blue-White Weekend, but first we have to get through some clouds this afternoon and some rain later on this evening and possibly some rumbles of thunder. But right now over Beaver Stadium, the clouds are hanging around over central Pennsylvania and mainly most of Pennsylvania, but temperatures hovering right in the upper 50s, 59 here in State College, 64 over in Altoona, same thing in Clearfield with that southerly wind, 75 over in Pittsburgh, so they're getting some short weather over there, but then 70 up in Franklin over in the northwestern portion of the state. Then we have 70 over in Philadelphia. Now in terms of our satellite and radar, here's what we got going on. Just some clouds over central Pennsylvania, but then this is our next system moving through that will usher in some of the nicer weather for this weekend. So that will bring the chance for some rumbles of thunder into central Pennsylvania, and this is what it's going to look like this evening. So we do expect some of the best possibility for severe weather near Somerset County, even up towards the northern portion of the state near Birmingham, but we do expect mainly showers here in State College later on this evening, right around 6:30. But then it clears out nicely for tomorrow morning. So any tailgating for Blue-White Weekend, well, the sun is going to be shining by 10 a.m. tomorrow with a few clouds lingering. But then we do have the clouds moving back in overnight Sunday. So that is something we'll keep an eye on. But in terms of our forecast for today, we do expect a high of about 64 degrees. Clouds will be around, and then we do see that chance for some evening rain and thunder. But then by tomorrow or this evening, we do expect a low of 50 degrees, mostly cloudy, but some rain earlier in the evening. And then the blue and white forecast, here's what we got. Partly cloudy, 56 during the tailgates. 3 o'clock kickoff, 70 degrees, mostly sunny. But then here is the 7-day forecast. Now, it's going to look real nice, 72 degrees on Saturday for the highs. That'll be during blue and white. But then we do dry out we do get some rain on the Sunday, but then we do dry out for the beginning of next week.
I think you just made a lot of people happy with your forecast for blue white and 72 degrees. I'm going to hold you that.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, get some shorts going on in the stadium. Grab some sunscreen though, because it might get burned tomorrow, but it'll be nice.
Well, as it's heating up outside, things are heating up in sports. Tyler, what's going on?
Penn State men's lacrosse takes the field tomorrow in hopes of continuing its Big Ten success. We'll have that story. Also coming up, Penn State football fans are heading back to Beaver Stadium for the annual blue-white game. We'll tell you which position battles to look out for tomorrow. I'm Tyler Olson with sports. It's blue-white weekend at Penn State, and the Nittany Lions' annual spring football game is set for tomorrow. Reporter Cooper Deck is live at Beaver Stadium with more on the game. Cooper?
Thanks, Tyler. We're standing right outside of Gate A of Beaver Stadium, which is where the blue-white game will take place tomorrow afternoon. While this is the main event going on throughout the entire weekend, there are also many other activities and events scheduled before, during, and after the game itself. Parking lots open at 8 a.m. and the Blue-White Fan Fest is scheduled from 10 to 2. This will take place on a blocked-off Curtin Road, which is located directly to my right. And there will be carnival games, rides, face painting, pretty much anything you think of when it comes to a carnival. Even after the game, there are other baseball and softball games scheduled within walking distance of the stadium. When it comes to the blue-white game itself, I took a deep dive into the position battles and main storylines heading into this weekend's inter-squad scrimmage. Penn State football is gearing up for Saturday's annual blue-white game, the final practice of the spring. And the biggest question heading into this game is who will start at quarterback once the season rolls around. The battle showcases the experienced Tommy Stevens, who sat behind Trace McSorley's entire career, and sophomore Sean Clifford.
Tommy and I, we both have strengths and weaknesses, but, Coach Ronnie tries to keep it the same, and I think that the offense in general complements both of us.
While most see Stevens as the favorite, Coach James Franklin says the quarterback room has one of the best dynamics in the country.
The quarterback position, we've created a pretty competitive room there that is very supportive of one another. And that's really not, probably common nationally.
While Stevens and Clifford are competing for that starting quarterback role, there are also many other players on the other side of the ball playing defense that are competing for a starting role come August. One of them is Shane Simmons. Despite battling injuries last season, defensive line coach Sean Spencer feels confident about him.
He worked so hard in the weight room and training to get back on the field. I just expect him to jump right back into that rotation.
The most attention may surround linebacker Micah Parsons. While he's only entering his sophomore year, the Harrisburg native emerged as a key part to this Penn State defense last season and has high expectations heading into next season.
We're here to win championships, That was the main reason why I came here. I bought into Coach Franklin's program.
Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. For the Center County Report, I am Cooper Deck.
Thanks, Cooper. The State High girls lacrosse season has taken off. The Little Lions are ranked 21 in the state and are looking for another winning season. Last night, the Little Lions beat the Redland Patriots 21-11. State High started hot, leading 13-4 by halftime. The Lions were led by Sally Stahl, who scored 7 goals and added an assist on the night. Alyssa Dunlap and Elena Olson each put up hat tricks as well, scoring 4 and 3 goals respectively, along with 2 assists each. The girls finished last season with a 15-5 overall record. This year, they're off to a strong start at 6-1 and are working to add another win tomorrow when they travel to Selinsgrove. For Penn State lacrosse, they're rolling at 9-1 with 3 games left in the regular season. The #1 Nittany Lions face Michigan tomorrow in Ann Arbor after 2 statement Big Ten wins in the last 2 weeks. The Lions topped Ohio State Sunday with the help of hat tricks from attackman Mac O'Keefe and midi Cole Willard. The Nittany Lions enter tomorrow's matchup leading the nation in scoring offense, man-up offense, assists per game, but there's still more, points per game, scoring margin, shot percentage, and winning percentage. Coach Jeff Tambroni says an improved defense will help his top-level offense tomorrow against Michigan.
When your defense is playing the way they have over the last couple of games, it also inspires some confidence in there, knowing that you don't have to be perfect in the offensive ends.
The Wolverines are last in the Big Ten and are 3-7 overall on the season. Penn State baseball is looking to turn its Big Ten fortunes around this weekend against Nebraska. The Nittany Lions, who are 1-7 in Big Ten play, kick off a 3-game series against the Cornhuskers today at 1. They'll have to bounce back from a 7-2 loss Wednesday against Pitt. Penn State opened up scoring in the bottom of the second with an inside-the-park home run by Chris Kramer, but the Panthers scored 7 unanswered runs and struck out 14 to split their home-and-home series with Penn State. Coach Rob Cooper says he's confident in his team, but they'll need to cut back on the strikeouts if they hope to beat the Cornhuskers.
You know, you get 27 outs and 14 of them are strikeouts. You know, there's no chance for the other team to make an error or to have something good happen.
Nebraska sits at second in the Big Ten with a 7-2 conference record and a .281 team batting average. Penn State's team average is just .239. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Tyler. Coming up next, a former board of committee member who's just 17 years old is running for a spot on the local school board. Stay with us. A local high school student is taking his passion for politics and community to a new level this coming election. Andrew Lashinsky has the story.
Max Crowell can often be seen wearing the colors of Bellefonte High as a member of the track team. Athletics is not the only way Crowell contributes to his school. For the last 4 years, he's also served as class president. But when he graduates in June, he'll no longer hold that title. Still, Crowell is looking to make a difference even after he's gone. The 17-year-old is running for a spot on Bellefonte's school board.
I've spent 13 years in the school system, and I want to be able to give back.
Max's father, Josh, wasn't surprised by his son's decision.
He's always kind of been that way, always done things a little bit different than most kids.
If he would win, it wouldn't be his first time around district leadership. He already attends the meetings and serves on the district's construction committee. Some might worry how Crowell, who will attend Penn State in the fall, will manage his time if elected. Max doesn't think that'll be a problem.
I mean, I'm involved 10+ clubs. I've never had really a non-busy schedule, and I like being busy, so I found that I've been able to time manage really well.
Crowell's campaign has been well received by some students. The goal is to bring the board closer to students by adding a younger perspective. Reporting in Bellefonte, I'm Andrew Lashinsky for the Center County Report.
5 of the 9 seats on Bellefonte's school board are up for election this cycle. The primary is on May 21st.
And that's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed. That's at Center County REP or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Join us for our next newscast next Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone.